G'day, Lakeland Linus. I'm a high school teacher in Sydney, Australia, and very curious if you guys over there are suffering from huge teacher shortages like we are here. Also, how do you see tech in the classroom evolving in the future? Keep up the great content.
You know, that's an interesting question. How do I see tech evolving in the classroom? I confess, I hadn't really thought about it until I had kids, and I walked into a classroom, and I was like, there's no overhead projector.
Oh, yeah.
Like, obviously, that would be stupid. For the youngins out there, an overhead projector was this a light box, essentially, that had a writing surface over the top with a roll of plastic, like a plastic sheet roll that would roll. You'd have like a used side on one side, so you'd roll it up, and then fresh ones would come over top. And the teacher would have like a wet erase pen, so they could write on this sheet of plastic, and then so the light shines from the bottom, and then you've got this sheet, and then it would go into a mirror that is a little more complicated than just this, because I think it would have to flip it the other way around or whatever.
Okay.
But it would go into a mirror lens system that would shine it at a projector screen on the wall. Obviously, that would be phenomenally stupid in the age of...
We have much better things.
Cheap, better projectors, smart boards. I mean, even whiteboards, right? Like, I don't think I saw a whiteboard in school. It was all chalkboards.
Yeah, pretty much.
So I had confessed
It's been a while since we've been in school.
It's not something that I've thought about a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, we've already seen a lot of evolution in teaching, you know, whether it's Chromebooks in the schools.
I donated a couple of my original VR headsets to my old computer teacher because he was still teaching. He's a principal now, but I was assuming that he could get them into the right hands, whatever, because I wanted him to be able to have that in classroom for people that aren't necessarily able to get VR headsets at home.
Yeah, sure.
Are they the perfect experience? This was quite a few years ago, so they were a little bit more recent at the time. But are they like the newest and greatest thing ever? No, but it can show you the fundamentals of VR and what's going on. And they apparently had a computer that was good enough to power them, so like very cool. But I don't know how common that is. I hope there's like 3D printing options and stuff in schools.
Yeah.
I feel like that's a pretty important thing to learn if you're growing up.
They definitely do some, like at my kids' school, they definitely do some coding, like introductory stuff.
Basic modeling.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I do think that in general, school could spend a lot more time on practical skills. I think this is going to end up being a much, much longer conversation. I think that most people will never need even Math 8. Because the reality of it is like, and you can say like, well, how are you going to do your taxes? Most people don't. Most people just give money to the monopoly, the tax software monopoly, which is a very interesting rabbit hole, by the way.
Oh, it's horrible. Yeah.
Yeah. If you want to look into it and like how they became the monopolistic tax software behemoth that they are, absolutely fascinating rabbit hole.
Which is also the answer to why doing your taxes is so bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, you know, like I would love if people were given more practical educations. And I know that in some places they do that. Like, I think it's at about like 12 or 13. You basically either go to academic school or to like more of a vocational school that's more focused on hands-on. And it's not because like one is better than the other necessarily. In fact, at least here in BC, trades often get paid more than white collar work.
And faster.
And way faster because they are so in demand.
The like career towards retirement and then like moving into retirement stage process for a lot of trade skills, especially around here, is like faster and more stable.
Yeah, Frugivore says, as my grandpa says, learning is not about the content, it's about learning how to learn for the future, and that's true. But I feel like, at least when I went through, a lot of what we learned was not super applicable to what we were going to do in our lives. And while we did learn to learn, we didn't learn to learn necessarily the things that we needed to learn. Like you could easily have made it all the way through my high school, never having been hands-on with anything. Now, I took classes that were outside of my comfort zone. I did it on purpose. I took metal art and jewelry. I took technology, which taught us, we did a bunch of really cool projects. We had a paper plane optimization unit that we did.
Oh, cool.
We did
That's sweet.
we did a unit on home electrical wiring, like how to do house wiring. We did a unit where we built our own submarine. So it had to have 6 degrees of freedom. And so we had a tether, obviously, because we couldn't send wireless signals underwater. But part of the test was you had to achieve neutral buoyancy, and then you had to be able to navigate up and down, forward and back, left and right to get to some target. So I did technology. I did auto shop. And I think you've known me long enough to know that
That went really well.
that ain't my thing. I got a good grade. Like, I got a good grade. I'm a good student, but like, I was not interested. You know what? That's when I started swearing.
Auto shop?
I did not use cuss words until I took shop in grade 10. Like, at all. Like, the first time I dropped like a damn, literally heads turned. Like, I was that kid.
That's pretty funny.
Kurt says you dropped out, so school didn't work for you. You found your way, but don't knock stuff that you understand.
What?
What are you even talking about?
What?
I did not drop out of high school. I graduated high school with excellent grades. I got into the University of British Columbia very comfortably. I did not last in university. There's a lot of reasons for that. But no, I was a good student, and it's important to learn a variety of things, but that's exactly what I'm talking about. Every one of those classes that I just listed was an elective. And so if you chose not to, you could totally go through having only ever looked at books. And I don't think that just one or just the other is acceptable. That's what I'm trying to say. And there, no, that's what I'm trying to say. That's it.
Yeah.
What were we talking about? I forget what the question even was.
Teacher, education,
Technology in schools.
Oh yeah, because that's basically the way the world's going.
Yeah.